Good morning. Today we will discuss about eccentrically loaded weld joint. Because we have already made so many video on welding joints, now it is last topic of eccentrically loaded welded joint. So now we will discuss this. This is the diagram of eccentrically loaded. If you see, this is plate number 1, this is plate number 2. Load is from this point. If you see in elevation, this is elevation and this is plan. So in elevation, if you see, this is a load acting. Distance between welding joint and load is E, that is eccentricity. L, S and T, as you know that this is throat thickness, size of weld and length. So if you see eccentrically loaded weld joint has many ways to apply, as we will see two different cases where eccentric load applied and stresses induced. So what is the condition here? If you see, I will write here. This is one condition where load is applying here. This is a load. So what is the condition? So if we apply eccentric load, then it imposes in many ways. This is the one way. You can apply here, you can apply here, you can apply anywhere you can apply. So what is the difference? Major difference comes the stresses. Which stresses come here? So here in this case, let's consider this is case 1. Case 1. What is the case 1? Load is applied here eccentrically, then two different nature of stresses develop. Here if you see, two different nature of stresses develop. It could be possible that nature of the stress could be same, but one is primary stress, one is secondary stress. So let's consider case 1 where two different stresses come. That let it first is shear stress, then second could be bending. Case 2, consider first is primary shear stress, secondary is also a shear stress but is secondary stress, and when we combine both the stresses, then comes a resultant stress. So we will first see the case 1, that is two different stresses come. Which come first? Consider the shear stress. Okay, this is a direct shear stress due to force. It is a force or load. Because of this force, shear stress develops. So it is a primary or direct shear stress. And what is the second? Because of eccentricity. This is a P applied here and this is a eccentricity E. Because of P multiplied by E comes a movement. So because of this movement, here bending stress apply. So second is bending stress. Stress due to P into E, that is M, correct, because of movement. So these two stresses apply here. So we will make resultant and find out maximum bending stress. Okay, maximum bending stress and maximum shear stress. So we will go one by one. So what is shear stress, or you can say direct shear stress? Then consider Fs. What is this Fs? It is directly P upon A, that is load upon area. What is area of this? S is welding size, T is throat, so it is a throat area. A generally throat area, so P upon 2, because two side is there, 2 into T into L. This is simple. So Fs is equal to P upon 2 TL, or if you see here, T converts to size of weld, then what will be 2 into 0.707 into S into L, that is P upon 1.414 SL. So if you see, Fs is equal to P is equal to 2TL. This is both the conditions. You considered equation 1. This is a shear stress, direct shear stress. What is bending stress? Second is bending stress. What is bending stress? So bending stress majorly come from bending equation. Bending equation. What is bending equation? It is very known. M upon I is equal to F by upon Y. What does it mean? Fb is equal to M upon I upon Y. It is very simple formula. So Fb is equal to M upon I upon Y. What is I upon Y? If you see, I upon Y is equal to Z. So M upon Z, that is section modulus. So this is the equation. If you put the Z value, so Fb is equal to here, because it is a rectangular bar, so M upon, if you see, you place the value of M, here we have seen that what is M? P into E. And what is Z? For this particular rectangular welding, because it is welded from both sides, so this is the main condition where two parallel welds. So what is the condition then? TL square upon 6. It is for one side, and if it is 2, then it is multiplied by 2. So Fb is equal to P into E upon TL square, और ये मल्टीप्लाई से then cancel it, so 3PE upon TL square. You can write it 4.242 upon PE upon, what is that? T convert to S, because what is 4.2? 4.242, what is that? This is 3 multiplied by 1.414. This is the equation. So SL square. So this is second formula. So Fs come from P upon 2TL, Fb comes from 3PE upon TL square. So both stresses come here. How we can join it? We know that. What we know? Formula of maximum bending stress. What is max? So what is the formula? We have already read that. This is 1 upon 2 Fb plus 1 upon 2 root Fb square plus 4 Fs square. This is the maximum bending stress formula. And if you write what is the maximum shear stress formula, Fs max, what is that? Only this term remove, then it 1 by 2 Fb square plus 4 Fs square. This is the formula of maximum bending, maximum stress. Here we have used Z. So Z, the value we have directly put here, T L square upon 6 for one side. So just I show the chart where bending moment, if you want to find out sectional modulus and polar moment of inertia, both I have charted it out for you. Just you see that and then we will discuss. Okay, so I have just charted down of polar moment of inertia and sectional modulus of weld. Both I have charted it down for you. You have just pause it the video and you can write down it, because it is a measure we have to know before solving the problems. See, we have used this one, section modulus, we have used that for rectangular, and this is the welding, vertical welding was there, so this is TB square upon 6 I have used for single. If you use for double, this is multiplied by simply 2 here, so it will come, see, this is 2 vertical welding, this is TB square upon 3 multiplied by 2, then it will come like this. Okay, so horizontal, vertical, 2 parallel, which is horizontal, 2 vertical, rectangular tubes. If you are welding, then all around you are welding, and this is its polar moment of inertia and sectional modulus. So if you memorize all this formula, so you will solve it fast. So we have seen the case 1. Now we have discussed case 2. In between we have seen moment of inertia and polar moment of inertia. So that formula we have to take care of that. So what is case number 2? Here this is one plate and this is another plate. It is welded like this. This is first plate, this is second plate, and load is applicable here, that is eccentrically loaded. So this is E, eccentricity of that load. Here if you see, this is P and this is center of gravity. So this point give a G. So what is the difference between case 1 and case 2? Case 1 was 2 different stresses in nature, that is one shear stress, then second is bending stress. Here because it is welded like this, so if I put the load here, so 2 same nature of stresses developed. Which one? First is direct or primary shear stress. We will write here FS1. Why? Because 2 shear stress are here. So this is 1, and what is the second? That is because of movement. Load is applied here, E is here, so the shear stress will come, but it is a same nature. So this is a secondary. That is FS2. So let it consider, this is a P applied here, P applied here. So we have just used term P1 and P2 here. So P1, consider it is a load which induced primary stress, shear stress. And P2 will be a load which induced secondary shear stress. But it is only for calculation. This is not exactly like this, but P1 is equal to P and P2 is equal to P, because just I have to indicate because of this what happened, because of this what happened. Okay, so when P is applied here, at that time P1 induced here, this is a direct or primary stress. So what will be the formula for first direct stress या primary shear stress? So what will be the formula? Simple, Fs1 is equal to P upon A, as we know earlier. So what is P and what is A? P is same as P. What is A here? Simple, 2TL. If you want in term of S, then it is 1.414 SL. You can write here also, and it is the formula. Equation 1 consider. Okay, and what will be the second? The secondary shear stress. Why? Because of P2. This P2 we have considered. Because of this load, this joint rotates. So what will be the load? This load will be, you can say, T is equal to P into E. Simple, because this load, this is the distance, it is applied here and this joint is rotating. So definitely shear force act on in this joint, that is secondary. Okay, so this is the case for secondary stress. I write down here. Shear stress. Okay, so if you see here, this is a theta degree and what is radius is 2, and if it radius changes, so R is changes and what is your torque will change. So stress is dependent on radius especially and degree. So how you can write? Fs2 upon R2 is equal to Fs upon R is equal to constant. Why? Because this R2, this is the radius, and this F2, if we use both the differentiate and any radius, if your radius changes, it is radius R2, that is maximum, it is slowly reduces. So with the radius your stress is decreasing or increasing, so the ratio of stress oblique radius is always constant. So can we write it? Fs2 is equal to Fs into R2 upon R, because it is a constant. Constant means both are equivalent. So once it is equivalent, then Fs2 R will come this side and this product will come. Then what is exactly shear force for a smaller section? Here we have just find out D upon A, smaller section. What is the stress level? Indifferent. Then shear force at smaller section. What it will be is equal to Fs into, because it is a smaller section, so dA is a smallest or smaller section, what you say. Then if it is a smaller section multiplied by shear stress, what will become? So it will torque. So d by t is equal to Fs into dA into R. That is simplest one. And we have already put it here. Fs, Fs2, both the values I have put here. So what is the value of Fs? If I put Fs, then how we can write it? Fs is equal to Fs2 into R upon R2. We can write like this also. So if I replace it, what will be the Fs2 upon R2 into R into dA into R. So dt is equal to Fs 2 upon R2 into dA into R square. Correct. And if I integrate it, so we get total turning moment. So integrate whole term, then it come t. After this is integration Fs2 upon R2 into dA into R2. Then what will become? Fs2 upon R2 integration dA into R. Sorry, this is not R2, R square. R square. Then simply, do you know what is this? Integration of dA into R square is called J. What is J? Polar moment of inertia. So we have seen in previous table in which I have already shown polar moment of inertia and Z, sectional modulus. So both formula I have shown. So polar moment of inertia required for case 2 and sectional modulus was required in case 1. So if it is J is equal to integration dA upon dA into R squares, polar moment of inertia, then what it will be? T is equal to Fs2 upon R2 into J. Then what will be the Fs2? Fs2 is equal to T into R2 upon J. And what is T? T is P into E into R2 upon J. That is simple. So Fs1 we have seen, this is Fs2, the equation number 2. What was equation number 1? Fs1 is equal to P upon 1.414 S L square. This is equation number 1. So both Fs1, Fs2 we have received. Then what is that is resultant. Resultant shear force. Stress. Then what will be the resultant? Fsa. A, what is A here? A is any point where we considering this stresses. Fsa is equal to simple root Fs1 square, then Fs2 square plus 2 Fs1 Fs2 into cos theta. What is cos theta here? Theta is equal to angle between both stresses Fs1 and Fs2. So cos theta, what is cos theta is equal to R1 R2. This is the simple calculation. And what is J for column and beam, all these? 2Ixx plus area into what is the gap. Okay, this is the gap, x denote that gap, so this is polar moment of inertia. So we have seen eccentric loaded welding joint, case 1, case 2. This is last topic of welding joint, so we have covered all points. Now you can solve the equations, you can solve the problems. If any problem, you can give comments. Thank you.